I really got into photography more so than anything just because I was into the sports first, and I loved capturing that stuff. And I've always grown up looking at magazines and action sports magazines, skateboard, motocross, all these different things. And I just loved, I was always fascinated by the art of photography, and I just loved it. But I never really put my finger on the fact that it was photography. It was just, I just loved the aspect of the sport and just the whole idea of it all. And once I decided that, or found out that I was never going to be that good on a dirt bike to actually make a living, I thought, what better way to make a living than to try to chase these guys around and take photos of them and still be involved and try to make a living that way. So that's the route I went. I went to school. I went to Cal State Long Beach, and I have a degree in photojournalism. It's a bachelor's degree, and I think it really did help me out a lot and gave me a great start. But I think more so I learned the majority of what I do just on the job doing it, and so I guess it's a combination of both. But I definitely got a good start and a good foothold on photography through school. When I went, it was all film, so there was a lot to learn about exposures and all that stuff. It's a lot different than it was now, but I think it gave me a good base level to kind of start from. Ken Fott from Dirt Rider, and he gave me my first true start. He gave me a couple assignments and sent me to a couple of supercrosses, and I actually got my first supercross that I ever shot. I snuck down on the floor, didn't even have a proper credential, and I got this lucky shot of Ezra Lust that made the cover of Dirt Rider, and that was, like I said, my first one ever. So that was I guess that was a good, that kind of showed him that if they do give me a credential, I can handle myself down there and get the job done. So I think it just kind of snowballed from there. He kept giving me more assignments, and both writing assignments and photography, and I just kept shooting more and more and started working for Dirt Rider. So by the time I was ready to graduate college, I was basically working full-time for Dirt Rider as well as finishing up school. So it kind of happened like that. It was crazy. I was probably a senior in college when I started working for them, and then all of a sudden I was full-time within a matter of less than a year. So it happened quick. I think that I really learned how, my kind of style of composition and shooting by basically just being influenced by so many different people, and just going around looking at every magazine. I mean, I can be on the airplane reading the in-flight magazine, and I'm still sitting there critiquing the photos and looking at them. I mean, I'm so intrigued by photography to this day that I grew up just everything I could see, I just would soak it up so much. And I think it's just a combination of all the different people that I looked up to and was influenced by, and I still do. And so I think that really helped me, and I think also some of the courses I took in college really played a big role in learning design and understanding how design works and what looks good on a page and what doesn't, and learning composition and those kind of rules. So I think between those few college classes and just the influence I've had from all the different action sports magazines and stuff throughout my my childhood growing up, that really helped me develop my eye for what I do. So throughout the years, I've seen a lot of changes, but I think the biggest thing has been the the digital revolution. As far as when I started, things were still just magazines, printed magazines, and it was all on film. So it was a much different world. It was a much more relaxed pace, which I kind of enjoyed, because I think you did put some more thought and creativity behind everything rather than just posting it up and trying to beat everyone else to the punch. So I think that there's some things about that I miss, but I think a lot of it is just that's part of it, though. You got to deal with the change and the evolution of technology and stuff. And I think on one hand it's good, and on one hand it's bad. But I mean, I do kind of miss those days of you finish a Supercross or a National, and you've got a big bag of 40 rolls of film that go to the lab on Monday, and you just go drink a beer because you're done. But now I'm in my hotel room working until it's light out the next day, and I got to catch my flight home. So it's made it from a kind of a hard 10-12 hour day into a 24-hour day at every race. So that's kind of the downfall of it. But at the same time, I understand that people want to see the stuff right away. The race just happened, and that's that's news. They want to see it right then, and so I understand that too. So I think that's the biggest thing, though. It's just the biggest change. But as far as the sport, it's really not that much different. I mean, there's obviously new guys in it, new players, new bikes, and new technology, the same way as there is with cameras. But I still think that overall stuff hasn't changed that much with riding. I think overall I would stick with like my roots. I've always really been into shooting freestyle. I think that's probably my favorite, just because, more so free riding, because that it's almost like you're becoming like a landscape photographer, but you're adding in that bitchin' action too. So it's like the best of both worlds. I think it's really cool to be able to try to like get a really pleasing bitchin' landscape that you'd be stoked on just as like a, you know, an artsy like outdoor photography kind of thing, but then adding in the element of someone just doing something absolutely ridiculous 20 feet in the air, it just makes it that much cooler. I would say that more than anything, I wasn't that like inspired by any like specific motocross photographer. I would say if I had to pick one person from back in the day, it'd be Fran Kuhn, and who I just had the pleasure of meeting, and he's a really, really awesome guy. That guy was amazing back in the day, and you know, I used to love Joe Bonello stuff back in the day, and there's definitely some heavy, like really good motocross guys. But at the same time, I grew up more in the skateboard world, and really looked up to those guys more than anything. And I kind of grew up with, you know, skating and motocross as my two favorite things growing up. So, you know, reading checking all the skate mags, I used to just, all the skate shooters are just amazing, and I was really, I would say more than anything, really influenced by them. And I think that skateboard kind of culture and way that was shot has definitely influenced me in what I do with motocross, you know, or whatever else I shoot. So I think I'm definitely really inspired by a lot of the skateboard photographers, Grant Britton and Dave Swift, and there's so many legendary guys that have been killing it for years, and I grew up reading their stuff in the magazines and being inspired by it. Medium Creative Group started about 4.5 years ago, almost 5 years ago now, and it's me, Ryan Cooley, who's the business manager, and Luis Rodriguez, who's the art director. And so it's just a small group of three of us. We're just a really small kind of boutique design agency that does photography, and we do catalogs, websites, we do print advertising, we do pretty much any kind of creative service that a company would need. And kind of our business motto kind of is that our small size is really good for a lot of these action sports companies, because, you know, they're not, you know, companies like Red Bull, you know, even though we do work with them too, there's a lot of companies a lot smaller than that want to try to brand themselves really well and really, you know, be creative, but they don't have the budgets like Red Bull does. So with us being smaller, we can kind of cater to those people too, and you know, make it happen for those people. So the medium is really just, it's an awesome opportunity for us all to kind of individually have our talents, our artistic talents kind of shine, because my art director Lewis, he does all this amazing design for, you know, companies. We've done stuff for you know, sports teams and all sorts of different things, and it's really cool to be able to see him do his thing, and then also be able to interact with him on certain projects where we do all showies, websites, and creative stuff like catalogs and stuff. So it's really fun because we're great friends anyways, and so for us to be able to go out and work together on projects like that, where he's kind of art directing me as I'm shooting, and then he goes back and he's laying stuff out with it. It's really fun because it's all just kind of a cohesive group that we work together. And we all met together working at the magazine, and we worked together for years before we started at the Medium. So we've been, you know, we've been like friends, almost like brothers, for the last just coming on 10 years now. And so we just all found that we worked together really well. So we decided, you know what, let's do it. Let's start our own thing and try to make our own business. And here we are, almost 5 years later, enjoying it. We're all staying pretty busy. We're, of course, probably sometimes you ask me, I'm working too much, but at the same time, really enjoying what I'm doing, so it's all worth it. It's fun. Yeah. I think the biggest advice I'd give to aspiring photographers is to really learn the craft and really learn, study and read everything you can about it, and just like soak it all up, because honestly, like, it's really easy. Anyone can pick up a camera and it's like a paintbrush and a palette. Like, anyone can grab a paintbrush and put something on a palette and call themselves an artist. But it's really like, to be like a really successful person who people will like to look at your work and enjoy it. I think you have to kind of come up with something different and develop your own style. And a lot of that it just comes from doing it, just experience and just going out there and you know, learning every little thing you can about photography and design and everything else, and just combining that all with your interests and your creativity and your love for what you're doing. And I think it all kind of just comes together. You know, you just get you have to have the passion for sure. And it really, if you have the passion, you learn the trade and you learn the technical details of how to do it, I think anyone could really do it and apply their own level of creativity to it, and you'll get something different from everyone, obviously, which is what's cool. So I think, you know, the biggest thing is just to keep plugging away at it, and you know, keep your reputation really good, be friendly to people, be easy to work with. You know, I mean, I think that's another thing that keeps me busy a lot, is that I'm pretty low drama. I don't, you know, I'm not real high maintenance person as far as, you know, needing things and you know, complaining about stuff when I'm on the road. I understand that plans always change, and things always change when you're out here, and you just roll with the punches and have a good attitude and be a pleasure to be with, and it just kind of all works out, you know. And it's like, if you're that guy who's sitting there complaining about everything and worrying about every little detail, I don't think people necessarily, you know, are going to want you on a bunch of projects. So I think it just really helps to just be easy to work with, do your thing, be good at what you do, but at the same time, you know, respect other people and what they do, and you know, don't think it's all about you. You know, there's a whole team out here, and you got to be part of it.